Hey, what's up guys, it's your man JB here. In this video we're going to be checking out the difference between some weathered wood, some non-weathered wood and some weathered wood paint by RUST-OLEUM. Stay tuned and check it out. Well, just recently I've done a few projects using some weathered wood, some non-weathered wood and also using this weathered wood paint. So what I thought I'd do is throw them all together and have a look at the difference between all three of them. So as you can see here, we've got a rather lovely looking piece of very weathered wood. This has been indoors for a few years now, but actually it's been outdoors for many years. I'd probably say around 8 years, 8 to 10 years this has been outside, and it has weathered really well. Already it just has this kind of grey look to it, and we're going to take a look at this once we've sanded it down a bit. Here we've got another piece of pine, so this is pine here, this is also another piece of pine, and this has basically just been prepared or planed if you like, so this is really smooth, and as you can probably tell this isn't weathered. And then we have this weathered wood paint by RUST-OLEUM. You can't really see what that looks like because it's in the tin, but we'll get some on and check it out. At the end of this video I will leave some links to the video where I'm doing a small project with weathered wood and non-weathered wood, and of course using this weathered wood paint. So my plan here is basically to just leave this plain, half of this plain, half of this in the weathered wood paint, to leave half of this plain and half of this with the weathered wood paint. So we really have got weathered wood with weathered wood paint. We've got weathered wood, we'll have non-weathered wood, we'll have non-weathered wood with weathered wood paint, and I think that's about it. Try doing that in one breath. If you haven't already seen the series of videos I did of making my bed, I think there were 4 in total, and one of them was making the bed. The second one was actually putting a centre support on the bed. The third one was painting the bed with the weathered wood paint. And the fourth one was making the headboard. But I guess what you've clicked on this video to see is basically the difference between weathered wood and non-weathered wood and using this or not using this. Let's get on with it. The first thing I'm going to do, other than give the rest of this paint a little bit of a shake and mix up, is I'm going to paint half of this with the weathered wood paint. Can you really make wood look weathered with a paint? That is the big question. Now you can get different shades of this paint, and this particular one is white smoke, so it will make it look a bit white, but the main thing is, and the thing that's advertised, is that it's supposed to be weathered. It's supposed to give you a weathered wood look. Now I have already given this a sand, and using a piece of 80 grade paper, and it doesn't actually make it look too rough, particularly when you do it along with the grain. So that's really important, people. When you're sanding wood, particularly like this, and you want to see the grain, don't sand this way, sand this way with the grain. Right, let's dip our brush and let's give this its first coat. Just half of it because I want to be able to see the difference between the two. This is a water-based product, so it doesn't take too long to dry. And I am going to give it probably 2 or 3 coats. What do you reckon? That's your first coat of your weathered wood paint. Okay, let's put that to one side, let that dry. Using this particular timber a few times before in the past, I know that when you give it a sand it looks really nice. So if you really wanted to, you could just use it like this, but it is a little bit rough and it does just look rather grey. It's kind of one colour. So what we're going to do is just give it a light sand with some 80 paper on half of it here. And you may start to see straight away that some of the original colour of the wood is starting to come through now. So this is entirely up to you really. If you just want to keep the wood sanded, weathered and sanded, then that's absolutely fine, and how much you want to sand it down will also depend on how much you want to see of the wood underneath. So we've got the weathered wood where it is sanded here. I think you'll agree that's starting to look rather nice, and then there's the non-sanded weathered wood. Yeah, that's definitely better. That there is definitely better. It's smoother and it's got more colour to it. But what I want to do for the purpose of this video is sand the whole lot, and what we'll do, we'll put half of it with the weathered wood paint. Oh yeah, so we'll put weathered wood paint on weathered wood. Ooh, that'll be interesting. I've just sanded all of the weathered wood now, and that is nice and smooth, and as you can see, it's rather nice. I do like the look of that. It's got a bit of a shiny, silvery look to it. We'll just do half of it here. So like before, you can see the difference. And actually, because it is so much darker and it's got so much, or so many different colours to it, as soon as this paint goes on, it really does make a difference. Unlike when we put it on the pine, the non-weathered wood, you couldn't really see it because that wood is so light in colour. You just couldn't see where the paint had gone on. Once again, we're going to do a couple of coats, at least 2 coats. So we'll leave that to dry and we'll come back and give it another coat in a minute. First coat done and dry, let's get the second coat on. Here we go, second coat on the weathered wood. I had plenty of paint on the brush there, that's really gone on quite quick. I'm going to put some on this one. Don't want to put too much on, I don't want to start seeing brush marks on it. It's just that the brush has been sitting in the paint, so here we go, we'll get some of that off and just run that on this bit as well. And you'll probably start to notice that the non-weathered wood with the weathered paint on doesn't really look like weathered wood, does it? Not really. Does look nice, it does look nice. There we go, second coat done. I don't think I'm going to do any more than 2 coats, but what we'll do, we'll leave this to dry and then we'll check it out and see what they're like. Right then, the second coat is done and dry, so let's take a look. There we go, that's how the non-weathered wood looks with weathered wood paint on it. I'm not sure, what do you think? Doesn't really look weathered. It does give it a really nice kind of whitewash look. So there is the timber that hasn't been treated with weathered wood paint, and there it has. So you can see there is a bit of a difference. You know, this does look a bit whiter and this looks a bit kind of more orange like pine does. So that's that bit. So here's the weathered wood, and this is how the weathered wood looks with weathered wood paint on it. And I've got to say, it looks absolutely fantastic. You know, again, this is white. This is a white version. But because this timber is usually quite dark, even though that is nice, and that really does give you a nice weathered look, that gives you a super lovely weathered look, because it's got that white in there as well. So here you can see the weathered wood with weathered paint and the weathered wood without weathered paint. So really you've got 4 options. You can use weathered wood, you can use weathered wood with weathered paint, you can use unweathered wood, or you can use unweathered wood with weathered paint. Blimey, have I got to say that any more times? So there you go, Rust-OLEUM weathered wood paint. And this is the white smoke, like I've mentioned a few times already. Fantastic, so there you go guys, I hope I've given you a bit of an insight to this Rust-OLEUM weathered wood paint. If you do have any questions or comments about this product, then stick them in the box below. I will try and respond to all the messages and comments and questions, but it's getting a bit busy now, you know. I'm going to have to start taking days off just to reply to questions and comments. Remember to subscribe guys, that'll be awesome, and I'll see you on the next video.